Hi, Sally Walker here, your hormone and slow age expert, and welcome to Carbohydrate Week. So this is the week I am talking all about carbohydrates, and as you well know by now, carbohydrate is just another word for sugar, which is just another word for glucose. So remember, every time you put something in your mouth which you call carbohydrate, you're actually putting glucose in. Okay, so what's the questions you need to ask yourself? Do I need all this glucose at the moment? So what is glucose used for? Energy. So are you in need of an energy pickup? Yes, carbohydrates are glucose. Okay, right. We're going to talk about one of the other monosaccharides, so the single molecules of sugars, because there are three types of sugars where glucose is absolutely the main one, but we also have one called fructose. And fructose is very interesting because it's the one that is most sweet. The one we like. Yeah. So remember, glucose is also sweet, but only 65% as much as fructose. Okay. So fructose is found naturally in fruits, in veggies, in sugarcane, sugar beet, and in honey. Okay, and here it will always be bound to glucose. So it's going to be a disaccharide. So that means there will be a little bit of control of how quickly fructose gets into the body. It has to be unbonded, divided, and also in many of these foods, the veggies, the fruits, etc., there will also be fiber, so they will slow down the digestion and the absorption. Okay, now fructose is also found unnaturally in something called high fructose corn syrup. So high fructose corn syrup, we'll talk about what it is in a minute. This can be quite a challenge because in the syrup, the glucose and the fructose are not bound together. So that means they're all ready to be absorbed. So absorption is going to be quicker. Plus in the syrup, there's not going to be any fiber, is there? So this could be a problem. So let's have a little look and see how much of a problem it might be. So back in the day, when our ancestors were getting their fructose from fruits and veggies, they would be consuming about 16 to 20 grams per day. There was fiber. It was a disaccharide. The fructose was bound to the glucose. Today, because of the high fructose corn syrup, many are getting as much as 85 to 100 grams per day without the bonding and without the fiber. Okay, and high fructose corn syrup is used very much in the soft drinks, the sodas and that kind of thing. Okay, so what is it, high fructose corn syrup? Well, basically it is corn syrup, and corn syrup comes from corn starch, and corn starch is pure glucose. Starch is a polysaccharide. We're going to talk about those as well in a little bit. The polysaccharides is long chains of glucose bonded together, and it's glucose. So, but what the food industry have been able to do is to convert the glucose to fructose. Why do they do that? Because it tastes much sweeter, doesn't it? So they only need to use half of the amount. That's the reason why. Okay, so that's what high fructose corn syrup is. And if you look on the labels of the foods that you eat, have a look for the letters H, F, and CS, so high fructose corn syrup, and then you'll see a number of percentage beside those letters, and this will tell you how much of the corn syrup, the glucose corn syrup, has been converted to fructose. So for example, it might say HFCS, and it will say 55%, and that means it's 55% fructose. And this is the type which is often used in the sodas and the soft drinks. Now, in the baked goods, where previously maybe the corn syrup has been used, which has been pure glucose, we're now using the high fructose corn syrup, or the food industry is, and now it is 42% roughly of fructose. So it means that it's going to be sweeter. So who thinks that bread tastes nice and sweet? Well, I mean, glucose is going to be sweet, isn't it? But maybe they're putting some of the high fructose corn syrup in these pre-baked breads because they just taste a little bit sweeter. And everybody seems to be in some way or form addicted to this sweet taste. Think a little bit about it. So what about this fructose? How does the body use it? Well, it doesn't. It doesn't use it directly. It can't. There's no process where we use fructose. So basically, your liver has the challenge. It has to convert the fructose into something else it can use. And what it will do is it will convert the fructose into glucose or fat. And depending on your need for glucose, it will make glucose or it will make fat. And if you don't need a lot of glucose because you're eating other foods which have lots of glucose in and you've been eating constantly for the last few hours, then your blood sugar is going to be maybe high. It's definitely going to be okay. So the liver doesn't need to make glucose. So it's going to be making fat. And there is a condition today called non-alcoholic fatty liver. And you see, alcoholics do tend to have challenges with fatty liver because of the sugars from the alcohol be converted to fats, and the fat will be stored in the liver, and then too much fat in the liver doesn't function properly. But today, because of the high fructose corn syrups, we are seeing what we call non-alcoholic, so people who are not alcoholic that are developing these fatty fatty livers, and the livers are not functioning properly. So, a bit of a challenge that, isn't it? So what am I saying here, Sally? People will be saying to me at least. What are you saying, Sally? Are we not supposed to be eating our fruit and our veggies and our honey? Absolutely, yes. Yes, I would say your fruits are very good. Your honey is very good because a little bit of fructose is okay and a little bit of glucose is absolutely okay. But eat your fruit, don't juice them. So what I'm meaning here is that when you make a glass of orange juice or you freshly press some oranges, how many oranges go to that glass of juice, okay? And how quickly do you drink it, yeah? As opposed to if you would eat the orange, you would eat one orange and how long would it take you to eat it? You peel it, eat it, etc., etc. But with the juices, perhaps you're using 3 or 4 oranges in a glass of juice and you are then drinking it immediately. So you're getting lots of fructose without the fibre. It still is a disaccharide. It's still bound to the glucose because it's coming from the fruit. So it's better than the high fructose corn syrup. But there's no fibre and you're drinking it very quickly and you're getting lots of fructose in one go. Okay. So is fructose friend or is it foe? Well, I think if it's coming from fruits and honeys and vegetables, that kind of stuff, then I think it absolutely is a friend. But if it's coming from a high fructose corn syrup, then I think it definitely is a foe. So be careful out there. Okay, happy hormones, happy life.